Alright guys, so about 2 hours ago the Future Fight team dropped a promotional video here giving us another look at the new uniforms for Spider-Man and our very first look at some of the new skills for Black Cat and Kingpin. We also get to see one of Kingpin's new abilities, so I wanted to talk to you guys about this as well because it looks like this is all we're going to be getting as a part of, I guess, the part 1 for the December update. Well, would it even be considered a December update if it's coming in January? Because I don't believe we're gonna get anything else after the 2 new uniforms for Kingpin and Black Cat for the winter holiday, and then the 2 new uniforms for Spider-Man, and then possibly an awakened skill that is shared for Black Cat and Kingpin. I think that's gonna be all we get for part 1, and then in part 2 we're probably gonna see a tier 3 for Green Goblin, and then an awakened skill that is shared by, I guess, all of the other villains that are part of the No Way Home update. So we're talking Electro, Sandman, Lizard, you know, all those guys. I'm guessing that's what's gonna happen because we all know that Green Goblin is the main villain for Spider-Man and everybody else is just kind of like the backup cast, if you will. So anyways, let's take a look at these videos. Alright boys, so it looks like we're getting at least 2 new skills for Kingpin, and he's at least getting damage immunity. But let me just toggle the sound back a little bit and then we can break down this trailer fully, because there's a couple things about Spider-Man that I didn't note or make note of in my first initial look at this. So first and foremost, Spider-Man now has damage immunity, which is something he's never had on any of his previous uniforms. So this is really good. It's gonna bump up his survivability, even though damage immunity can be penetrated. However, there are a few characters in the game that need to put up a certain skill in order to penetrate damage immunity. So if you're playing Spider-Man in, I don't know, Alliance, Conquest, or Timeline Battle, and the enemy doesn't activate your skill that can penetrate damage immunity, your Spider-Man immediately off rip is going to be safer now because he has damage immunity. So that's one good thing. Now the thing is, because this skill doesn't look like it's an iframe, I don't even think the damage immunity is going to make him that safe. So I hope he has immunity to guard break so he doesn't get guard broken while he's doing this, because it looks like a long animation where he's putting in a lot of effort. It would be a real bummer if while he's doing this and pulling back to launch himself at the enemy to do big damage, I suppose, right? It would be a shame if he just got guard broken, took a bunch of damage, and you got nothing from that, right? Also, it doesn't look like this is a damage accumulation skill, so there's no real benefit from him, I guess, leaving himself wide open like that. So it will be really interesting to see how that skill play out. But I think he's definitely going to need super armor or immunity to guard break to make the most out of that skill. And I know some of you guys are going to say, hey, isn't immunity to guard break and super armor the same thing? No, it's not. Immunity to guard break will protect you from some abilities guard breaking you, and others require that you have super armor. Like for example, if you have immunity to guard break and the blade twister hits you, if you don't have super armor or invincibility up to give you super armor, you are going to be guard broken. If you don't believe me, you can test it for yourself. Immunity to guard break and super armor, even though in some situations they seem to be doing the same things, some of the effects in the game require immunity to guard break to protect you from being guard broken, and others require that you have super armor. It's a very interesting situation. But anyways, let's move on. So right here, this is what's kind of confusing to me. This green cloud, I'm not too sure what is causing this. At first, I thought Spider-Man was healing himself, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I'm not too sure if one of the enemies is trying to poison Spider-Man or something, but it looks like it's actually coming from his body. So I'm not too sure what's going on there. And I looked at all of the other abilities in the game, and I'm not too sure what that's supposed to be. Now, obviously, this is a guard hit. Guard hit doesn't really do too much for you. So the fact that this is not an iframe and he's spinning around in place, that's another red flag. So 2 abilities, even though it's 2 different uniforms, that leave him, I would say for the most part, completely exposed. That's a bad sign. So hopefully he has a lot of healing in his kit, or he's gonna be in trouble. Let's move on. Yeah, I don't know. I think that might be poison he's emitting from his body, because the more I look at it, it just looks like a poison cloud that's just coming. Is it coming out of the car? Is it like gas, like from him spinning the car? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't look like any of the enemies actually hit him. Yeah, because they're being guard broken. They didn't do anything to him. So Spider-Man now does poison damage? Question mark? No idea. Like, actually no idea. Okay, what was that at the end there? The explosion. I think I seen something in there. Oh, I was looking at these blue things. I was like, what the heck is that? Yeah, it looks like it's just the lights coming off the cop car. Not gonna lie, the presents look cool. I was hoping to see a little bit more, you know, like damage immunity, invincibility, damage accumulation, something, but it's just a little bit of damage and nothing else. But we already know that Black Cat can heal herself based on damage dealt. So if she does really good damage, she's still gonna heal a bunch. So she really, realistically, even though it would be nice to get some immunity, invincibility, and all that stuff to protect you, as long as her damage is really, really good and she has a couple iframes, which she should, right, then she might be fine. But let's move on to Kingpin, because we get a couple of his skills here. So first and foremost, we get to see that Kingpin now has damage immunity. And the cool thing about this is the immunity seems to start from the moment you initiate the skill, because before he even punches down, you can see he's already immune, which is really cool, because oftentimes characters get skills and they have to like make themselves vulnerable, put themselves in a situation where they can take damage before their immunity even activates. So that's pretty cool. I hope Kingpin has immunity to guard break and super armor, because he's kind of a juggernaut, if you will. He's one of those guys. So hopefully he has one or both of those effects in his kit. Really like that, the fact that he rushes them and just kind of pushes them in a corner, kind of overpowers them. It's really cool. So, no, I'm not too sure about you guys, but that belly-to-belly suplex, it's not a suplex, but anyways, that frog splash, if you will. Shout out to my WWE fans. You guys know what it is, bro. That 5-star frog splash that he hits them with, it looks so funny, and it's so Kingpin-esque. It looks kind of like an awakened skill. I don't know, maybe I'm reaching. You guys think Kingpin is getting an awakened skill? Because, like, I'm thinking that could be his awakened skill, but at the exact same time, I don't see anybody else in there, so maybe not. Might not be his awakened skill. Right here, you can see Spider-Man doing the same exact kick that he does at the beginning of the trailer in the red suit. So that basically tells us that the red suit and the black suit will be sharing skills, right? Because that is basically going to be one of his skills. So far we've seen, I believe, 3 of Spider-Man's skills in just this video. That spinning kick that he does for his entrance, I'm pretty sure that's going to be part of one of his skills. And then the one where he spins the car, that's going to be another one. And then the one where he's like pulling himself in towards the enemy to drill them, that's another one. So 3 of his 5 skills. And then we also have one in the other trailer, let me pull it up, where he's summoning Doctor Strange, or summoning some type of time freeze thing. I believe it's this trailer right here that he was able to time freeze enemies. And actually, this is one that I wanted to point out. I completely missed this one, and I'm not too sure if any of you guys even seen that, but Spider-Man can actually now heal. So this is a big thing. So now he goes from only having iframes on a couple of his skills to now having damage immunity, guard hit, and a heal. If you look carefully here at the very beginning of this skill where he turns invisible, I didn't even see this at first. You see it? Like, you don't see it if you watch at regular speed. Let me turn this down, so like the volume doesn't get all distorted. But if you actually go into the settings here on YouTube, and then you just basically put it on like 0.25 and then go back and look carefully, you'll see that Spider-Man actually heals himself. And when you see it the first time, see right there at the very beginning, he heals himself for 38 HP. I'm sure it's more than 38 that he's gonna heal for. It's probably just the amount of HP he was missing, because the enemies he's fighting are not that strong, so they didn't really do too much damage for him to heal that much. But if you can see it, so right about here, if you go frame by frame, you can actually see the 38 HP very clearly, versus if you watch at regular speed, you won't be able to catch it. These guys are so sneaky. I did not see this the first, like, I would say 10 times I watched this, but for some reason I was here watching it at half speed, trying to figure out what he was doing for the other trailer, and then I actually came over to this one and half speed was on, and then I actually booked that there was a 38 here. And then if you go back, you'll notice that his HP was a little bit lower, I believe, at the very beginning of the video. It might be hard to see, but actually no, you can see it right here. Let's see if we can go back a little bit. Oh, yep. See, his HP was lower here. I'm not too sure if it's the same exact fight, but his HP was lower there. And then if you come over here, he has more HP now. So the only way that could be the case is if he's able to heal, right? So Spider-Man has a heal now. He has damage immunity and a guard hit. That's actually pretty good. That's better than he's gotten in any of his previous uniforms. So hopefully he gets damage accumulation along with that. We haven't seen anything that hints that he's getting that yet. But invisibility, which he's keeping from one of his previous uniforms, that's pretty good. And then we're also getting the ability to time freeze. So if you're still playing World Boss Ultimate, it's going to be pretty cool to be able to, I guess, perform magic and time freeze people with Spider-Man. But how useful is that going to be in the grand scheme of things? Actually, you know what? This might actually be pretty useful in Alliance Conquest, because if anybody's not running debuff removal, not only do they have to fear getting webbed up by Spider-Man, but now he can time freeze them, and it looks like it's a decent area of effect. So the entire map is going to get taken up with it. If the duration is pretty lengthy, Spider-Man is going to be really toxic for Alliance Conquest, especially if he can hide in his iframes and he still has invisibility and stuff. Oh gosh, he's gonna be toxic. Anyways, guys, we're gonna wrap it here. Thank you so much for watching. I cannot wait for this update, man. It's a shame there is no live stream this week, but it is what it is. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.